On Tuesday this week, in honor of those affected by the tragic events in Jacksonville 1 year ago, this tribute image was posted via Twitter by Madden Competitive Gaming, remembering Eli TrueBoy Clayton and Taylor SpotMePlzzz Robertson, and all those affected by the events of August 26, 2018. This week, both on social media and in person, the Madden community has shared their thoughts and reflections. RG, Scott Cole, and Rico Williams are here, three men who know this community obviously inside and out. Look, I know it's tough, but I would love to have your thoughts and where you guys are at emotionally this week. And RG, we'll start with you.
Yeah, it's obviously just a very emotional time for all of us, our community, and a lot of me's just been thinking about Taylor and Eli. And when I think of Taylor, I just think of him being, kind, respectful, humble, talented, accountable, caring, loving, competitive, funny. He was a worker. He was passionate. He was a champion. And he was a family man. And he's the person that I want to strive to be like. And when I think of TrueBoy, I think of a young man that was extremely talented. A young man that was aware. This is a guy that was constantly trying to better himself as a player and as a person, and he would action on those things. He was consistent. He made 7 EA majors till this day, tied for third all time. He had a smile that could light up the room. He was the first to hold the door. He was a good friend. And what I'll always remember is when he lost in the Final Four. And young kid went on to win that championship. He wasn't salty about his loss at all. Instead, he was happy for his friend. And that's the type of person he was. So they're forever in my heart. And I'm thinking about them a lot at this time.
RG, for us, it's hard as broadcasters to be at a loss for words. But over this past year, you really were. I mean, what can you say about two gentlemen? First of all, SpotMePlzzz. One of the best passers we've ever had in the history of the game, right? And I always respected him because, hey, I'm an older guy. He was a little bit older, not me old. And so we hit it off because we're both like small town guys, We're speaking our country language and all that kind of stuff. TrueBoy, we didn't get off to a good start. He was a youngster. I knew he was good. But over respect, I just started respecting the guy. He started maturing, and he would be dominant in this year's game. Man, 20. I mean, he'd be running all around kids. And so
third all time on EA major appearances.
Yeah.
I mean,
what can you say about these two gentlemen? And the crazy thing is they were great Madden players, but better people.
Yes.
And the more you got to know them, the more you were like, we just love each other. I love Rico, RG, James. We'll see how that goes. No, I know James for a long time, and we got a brotherhood up here. They got a brotherhood when they're down there playing on the sticks. And, anytime you lose two folks like that, there's no words. There's just no words, to really, make things, in your heart feel different.
Yeah, and when you really talk about SpotMe, he's Mr. Congeniality of Madden. Everybody always had a great thing to say about him. He brightened up the room anytime. He was always smiling, laughing. It was contagious. It was infectious. You look at everybody in the way that they come together and there are rivalries in the video game. SpotMe had no rival. Everybody, if there was somebody you had to lose to, everybody would always say, I'd want it to be SpotMe, because they genuinely wanted to see him succeed. They genuinely wanted to see him win because he was such a great person. And I know it sounds cliche, but there's not a bad word to say about him. And then when you see TrueBoy on the other side, everything he did was in growth. Everything he did was to try to become a better person. He was listening to motivational speeches in his headset. He knew that as a young man, that there were still people that were out there looking up to him. His run stick gave him a platform to grow up as a person, to grow up as a player, and to become the man that we saw him becoming. And you really got to tip your hat to him because he was so aware of himself and knew that, hey, this is who I want to be. I got to get there. And he reached out to everybody, whether it was me, you guys, Adrian, Dave. He just was really, really trying to be the best he could be as a Madden player, as a person, as a human being. And you got to love those guys for it.
Close to 500 competitors are here in Arlington this week, making the Classic the gathering place for the Madden community. The defending Classic champion, Skimbo, was in an introspective mood as well. Take a listen.
After what happened, the community as a whole really came together. I mean, there was a lot of differences in our community because, rivalries create that. But then once it happened, everyone just took a step back and realized the grander scheme of things. Like, hey, we're all people here. We have to come together because something like that could happen, anytime, and it happened to us. So, as a community, we really came together.
I really do feel like it united us, as a family. Before, I honestly feel like, there was a couple of people I really didn't, want to talk to. I didn't like them, but after that, it really does give you a whole different mindset about stuff. So I talk to everybody in this community now. I'm friends with everybody.
Where I see the Madden community going from here is just up. It's better to be together than separated, and we're so together right now after that event 1 year ago that I only see us exponentially growing and getting bigger and bigger because we're so tight-knit and we just want to see each other succeed. And it's like a brotherhood.
You hear this word a lot, brotherhood and community. I want to know, I'm relatively new to the Madden competitive space, but from what I've seen, and I want to hear from you guys, what have you guys seen, off camera? When the sticks are not in play, what are these guys doing? How has the community changed ever since those events from 2018?
I think in that video you just saw with, Skimbo and Kevin, you're talking about off camera, and Drini, that's how these guys are. And even when we came up here, I didn't know if I would be able to do this. It was very emotional. And we saw those pieces, and that gave me the strength to be up here as well. And I think the community is constantly motivating each other and giving ourselves the strength, and that's how we continue to play and do what we love. And it's the support we have for each other and the inspiration we give to each other that allows us to play.
The crazy thing, RG, is even beyond just the competitive community, I send GG messages a little bit more than I used to a year ago. And when we see these guys, we usually give them, a fist pound or something, but now it's hugs because it truly is a love. I mean, anytime you can get all these people together that are passionate about one thing, those are actually your closest peers. Even if when you get on the sticks, you want to win. Everybody wants to win. But when it's all over, you realize, hey, we're all tied by this special thing called John Madden football.
Everybody processes things differently and everybody handles loss and adversity differently. But the one common thing I saw was communication. Everybody was reaching out to everybody. Hey, you good, bro? How you doing? I just want to make sure you're reaching out. Everybody came together. Everybody shares this love for Madden. And it transferred from loving the game to loving the game and loving your opponent and your brother. We use the word brotherhood, but I think it's more of a family. Sometimes we'll argue whether it's dinner or who's sitting in where in the Uber. But at the end of the day, we're all going to be here and know that whatever you're going through, whatever your situation you're in, there's somebody who understands you, has your back, and is going to be there for you.
You saw on that piece there, right? You saw Skimbo, you saw Kiv, you saw Drini. These are three guys that have really advanced the game from where we saw it in the competitive space. But you could argue, and you guys have touched on it a little bit, TrueBoy and SpotMe, they advanced the game as well. Archie, can you talk about their gameplay just a bit?
I mean, whenever I see an amazing pass, it can't just be any pass. I'm talking about an amazing pass. We call it a spot instead of a dot because he was that good at passing the ball. He always had a unique offense. And then when you talk about TrueBoy, it just oozing with talent, unique, some of the best run stick you ever seen. And I'll always remember him as the first person to hold the door when we were calling a game. So
neither of them were meta guys. TrueBoy would be running when it was a passing game.
Right.
And the years that it was a running game, SpotMe would still be throwing it. He would still be running the same defenses, same offenses, and because they transcended the meta of this game.
It's funny. We all play the same game, but they were playing it differently.
Right.
They actually were able to put on a show. When you watch SpotMePlzzz, it was like artwork. It was watching him dissect these defenses. He was looking at something that I couldn't see, that I couldn't do, that nobody out there could see or do. And then when you had TrueBoy, any highlight you see now, when people get sticky with it, when they do anything, you automatically go back to True.
The True
and you
stick.
Think, yes,
the True stick.
You think, man, my youngster would have been there. He's doing it. That's the. And I can't help it. I'm smiling and crying at the same time, just because I can see his face. I can see him happy. He was loving it. He enjoyed it, and they were both damn good at this game.
RG, Scott Cole, Rico Williams, I appreciate your thoughts, your emotions. Obviously never easy to talk about things like this, but certainly a good conversation, and in honor of both True and Spot. TrueBoy and SpotMePlzzz, and all those affected by August 26, 2018. We are thinking of you, your families, and loved ones this week. For whatever peace it brings, the Madden community is with you and always will be.